I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, well, season 5, episode 5, Halloween surprise, which honestly is kind of like, I know it's only August, but I do feel like people are definitely into the fall right now. I think everyone's ready for Halloween and for like summer to be over.
Starbucks, I think, is releasing their fall flavors now.
Oh my God.
Already.
Okay, that's too soon.
We're in August. This is, I have a friend at work that I sit next to. She's wonderful. But every August, like it's like the 1st of August, her phone has like a Halloween phone case.
Oh my
and it's
God,
on
amazing.
Until after Halloween. She's just jumps right in. I'm like, all right. I
get it. I really do.
I also love that Halloween is the one that that Parks kind of gleams onto. Like I feel like every show has a holiday that they like really lean into. Like New Girl does Thanksgiving, sometimes Christmas. Friends did Thanksgiving, right? And like it's cool that we see Halloween is like a reoccurring thing here in Parks.
Yeah, I like that too. Okay, well, this was written by Mike Schur, directed by Dean Holland. So we already know this crew. If you're new here, Dean Holland was the backbone of so much of why the mockumentary style is the way that it is, because he's also an editor for The Office. And Mike Schur, hello, creator of all wonderful shows, including Parks. So I don't really feel like I need to go too far into it. So I'm ready for a summary whenever.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, here we go. It's Halloween in Pawnee, and there are scarier things than the death canoe happening, such as Leslie and Ben making big decisions around their relationship and career, Jerry having a fart attack. I'm sorry, I had to. Yeah. And Ron potentially messing up his new relationship with Diane. Also, Donna live tweets death canoe.
Yes, Donna. Oh my gosh, great Donna episode.
It's so good. And they're such tiny moments, but they're so well delivered.
They're so perfect. And they're so Donna. I love it.
They are so Donna.
Oh my God. Well, this cold open starts with Diane and the girls stopping by and giving Ron a rude awakening of what little kids are like in an office, but also just in general. And we didn't see them last episode, so it's really nice to see them now and kind of have Ron explain, like, we've been seeing a lot of each other and her girls are loud.
Yeah, they're loud. I do have to say, so part of me here, right, is I was once a teacher. I feel like as a vice president, you're taking your kids into a place of work. You're not going to let them scream and run around. Yeah. In my opinion. Like,
interesting.
That it seems like this is we have a conversation about we're going to see Ron at work. This is a very like, I will take you to the park afterwards where you can run and scream all you want, but this is where we behave appropriately, you know, because it's not like they're 3. Like if it was a 3 or 4-year-old, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. You can't wrangle that energy in, but they're like 9 and 7 or something like that. 10 and 8. I don't know. They look like elementary school aged. So
yes. Reminder for those who forgot, Diane is a vice principal, and she, I guess, I have a lot of thoughts about like Diane's like choices in this episode. So I'm very intrigued once we start talking about it, but maybe it's also like she's not at work, so she's not like thinking about it that way, but I still wouldn't, I don't know. It's whatever. And then Andy comes in obviously and plays with them, which is wonderful and we love, but he definitely
just milks
it and makes them go even crazier. And I think Diane's at this point is just like, okay, whatever. Like they know, they're familiar with Ron. They're familiar with Andy by this point probably. So, and I also love that Andy's the one that breaks something.
I know.
And it's not even the girl.
It's great.
I love Andy's like, me too. I love Andy's, like big gasp and like excitement about trick-or-treating. Like, oh my God, we have to go.
And he invites himself.
Totally.
Right. And I love that Diane just goes with it. I mean, you can come along too. Sure.
Yeah. Why not?
The more the merrier.
I also love, exactly. The more the merrier. I also love that when they do leave, that line that Ron has of like, what the fuck just happened or whatever. I feel like that's super relatable when kids leave. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. A tornado just arrived and disappeared instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot.
Crazy.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, Leslie is looking at a new house now, and Anne is there too, which I love that friend moment that they're together kind of checking this out.
So much wood.
Yeah, a lot of wood.
Why?
I think that house is way too nice for
100%.
Pawnee. What is happening?
Way too nice for Pawnee and way too nice for a government employee. Although we don't know what Ben's being paid for this campaign job. But still. That's true. It looks quite extravagant, way bigger than the house we see Leslie have in season 1 or 2. And and just so much wood.
Fireplace and like the double stove. I was like, this is so fancy.
But no trampoline room, Holly. There is
no trampoline room. There was a reference to a trampoline room in Scrubs too, and I think it was like somewhat around the same time maybe, and I'm just like, were trampolines like really big then, or maybe the writers just had like thought similarly? I don't know.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
random.
I mean, good for them, but I was just like, this is so massive.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So
I can't get over, and you'll hear me say it again, so much fucking wood.
Yeah.
Why do the walls
I
need
love a
it?
wood floor though.
Oh yeah, a wood floor is great. Why is there wood on the walls, Holly?
Oh, because of those panelings.
Yeah.
That's a big thing in houses.
Yeah. I can get why that's in Pawnee.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there
this is just a personal preference, by the way. Like if you have wood everywhere, that's your personal preference, and I applaud you. But me personally, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Also, I think I was confused because I think I thought that they were trying to buy it, and that even more so was like, this is way too fancy, I feel.
Right.
But renting it is it's still probably expensive, more expensive than I would have thought, but it's not as
more manageable.
Yeah, it's not as extravagant, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say there's a producer's cut version on the DVDs, which I watched. It's so hilarious. Anne is like, why do you need a third bedroom? Because there's 3 bedrooms. Okay. And they said they're making the second one their office, because they're going to share a room, obviously. The second one will be their office. And you think she's going to say, like, for a baby before she says office, because she says, like, she has this pause, and I just think it's funny. Anyway, but she says that in their office, they'll sit side by side and write devastating op-eds about the world's ills.
Beautiful.
Like, oh my gosh. Amazing. And then what's the funniest part is that the third room is going to be a room for Oprah when she's in town. And Anna's like, yeah, but other people can stay in, like, it can be a guest room just in general, though, right? And Leslie is like, well, that's up to Oprah. Oprah really has to decide. We'll see what she thinks.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
That's so funny. On the off chance the Oprah decides to go to Pawnee.
Yeah, exactly. She has a place to stay. Martha, the real estate agent, is played by Susan Isaacs, and she does a wonderful job. She is from the Groundlings, which is, I've talked about it before on the show. Many people have come from the Groundlings, but again, if you are unfamiliar, it's a super popular and pretty prestigious improv, group where you can take classes, but they also have the Sunday team, which is like where a lot of people from SNL come from. It's in LA. She worked with Tony Hale, aka, Arrested Development, Veep, all that stuff. And yeah, that was super cool. I feel like I've seen her in other things, but I can't put my finger on it, and I wasn't super familiar in IMDb, so I was just like, there's got to be some other. She was in Veep as well, I think, for an episode, so maybe it was that, but yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think she did a great job.
Yeah, and Ben is supposed to come back in 10 days, and she is saying that they would move into her house, but they all called it, and the health department called it, a hoarder house. And honestly, like, that big house would be like a hoarder's heaven. So hopefully she doesn't turn this into a hoarder's house.
Yeah, I think Ben probably is going to put his foot down.
Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when they move out, he's going to be super on top of her getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, totally. And I think the next episode that they show it, I'll do more of a breakdown on where the house is, because I know that's online somewhere, but I just didn't research it this time because there's just so much going on. But I know that I think it's in LA, and I would hope that you could go see it, like drive by it.
Do you know if it's a real house or if it's a stage?
I think it's a real house. But I'm not like super positive. It doesn't look like a stage.
Yeah, I feel like you notice that this is one thing I did love about the house, the windows. Love the windows. So it does look like it's looking out on, like, it's not from a studio.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think it's a real house.
Yeah.
So I'll do a breakdown on that the next time we see it because I know we will. But she's so happy and I just love it so much. But I had this deleted scene that I have to share with you because, well, if you're familiar, did you watch Inside Out ever?
Yes, I love that movie.
Did you watch the second one?
Yeah, we just took Killy and I had to.
Oh my gosh.
I sat in the aisle with him so he could crawl around. He was like not about
God.
sitting in the chair. It's so funny,
Of course.
but so good.
Okay, well, for those of you not familiar, you should go see Inside Out immediately. But Amy Poehler plays the Joy character, and I just have to play this deleted scene because she's talking about the house and how she's kind of sort of scared to like move in together, blah, blah, blah. But here it is.
It's great. I told you, Anne, it's perfect, right? I love it so much. I love it so much I almost hate it.
That's good?
It's great, but it's very scary, but in a happy way. Yeah, I'm just angry with joy and fear. Ben is coming.
I just thought that was so cute.
Cute.
She's angry with joy and fear because they talk about joy and fear in Inside Out. And I know it's totally not meant to be that way, but it just like was such a lovely moment.
Yeah, it's relatable. I love it.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a lot of
I could
emotions.
go on like a whole diatribe about Inside Out. It's so good. I love how they had a panic attack. That was so wonderful. Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's
In the second one. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Anyone who hasn't seen it, and especially if you have kids, it's such a wonderful representation of like what goes on in our heads, and there's like a validation to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
100%.
it's awesome.
Well, she says that she wants to lease this house, and Martha is very like nonchalant about it. She's just like, great, cool. And it wasn't dramatic enough for her. So Anne pulls out her phone and starts playing Party Rocker. And I love that so much. And they start
her
dancing
own little
around.
hype woman. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They start dancing around the house. And I'm pretty positive she like Leslie's flickering the light too. Like trying to make it a little bit more like, you know, rave vibes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so good. I love it. I love it that like Anne is in it just as much as she is. And it's not even her relationship or her decision. She's just there as like a support person. I love that.
Totally. Me too. So now Chris is coming to the Parks Department and he's saying he got most improved patient from Dr. Nygaard. Chris only got it because he asked for it while he was crying loudly.
Oh, Chris. Oh, I'm so happy for him. But at the same time, like I'm happy that he's in therapy, but you can see you're like, ooh, you still got a ways to go, bro.
He's going through it. He sees him 5 times a week, and that's a lot.
Can we talk about, because we talked about this together a little bit ago, how much that costs for a government employee to go 5 times a week? There's no way. Like the cheapest therapists now, I feel like, are close to $100.
Yeah, and there's a deleted scene that also says that he has evening sessions sometimes. So 2 times a day sometimes. And yeah, I mean, my copay, I mean, there's no gatekeeping here. My copay with a covered through Blue Cross Blue Shield is $60 per session, and it's 50 minutes, which is really good for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think for a long time, I wasn't seeing anyone covered by my insurance because my insurance was so shitty at the last job. Well, for mental health. And I do have I feel like I said this in the last episode. I don't know how we got on the topic, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But basically, the way I found my therapist was not through the website, not through your insurance's website, because I have found that is not updated. Those people are not the best. And it's not even that they're not like good. It's just like, sometimes they change offices even, and you call and they're like, oh, we're not actually accepting new patients, even though it says it does. So what I did was I literally Googled therapists covered by Blue Cross Blue Shield Nashville, and a whole bunch of people came up, and it said psychologytoday.com, and that's a huge like resource for people to find therapists, but also to message them and to get a little bio and see if you fit. That's all I really wanted is a bio. I was like, what do you specialize in? What did you study? Like, or do we fit kind of in that way? And that you can put your picture on there. I loved seeing a picture. And, you know, that's not shallow. That's just like kind of putting a face to the name. And I really this time wanted someone older than me, because I think the last couple of times I've had someone that is like, you know, 30s or maybe only like 2 years older than me. I'm sorry, like it's just a personal preference at this point. I want someone wiser that has lived longer, that knows a little bit more than me, and whatever. And
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel the same way.
So I had a really good experience, and that's also how I found my mom's therapist. And so I'm just saying, like, you can definitely find people. Some people have had good experience with ZocDoc, which is another platform for finding medical professionals. But I think I tried it once and I wasn't into it. But some people have had really good luck. So there are definitely ways. And I'm really just all that tangent to say, like, keep trying if you're looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is expensive as hell.
Yeah.
So Chris is probably paying a lot to go all that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And the time that it takes. How much, I mean, good for him that he's prioritizing it in his life. But that was I was like, there's no government employee that would be able to afford that much. Unless the government is
paying for
it and providing
they could. Or maybe they pay for a certain amount of sessions.
Yeah.
You know, I know some corporate offices do that. So
that's what my company does. It's awesome. Yeah. So maybe.
But anyway, good for Chris. He is saying that. Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm also in love with how out with it he is. Because there's been a stigma for a long time that if you're in therapy, you don't say anything about it, right? And he's so like, you know, maybe he shares a little too much, but he also is, you know, I'm in therapy and like there's nothing wrong with that, right? He's a person of power in this office. And the fact that he comes forward and is just like open with it, I love it. So I just had to say that too. Yeah,
I love it too. I definitely like how we've gotten to that point where we're like, yeah, my therapist said this, like just as part of conversation. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's telling us that the scary movie night is happening, Death Canoe 4, which we'll see. Donna is going to live tweet this bitch, which I love that line so much. There is a deleted scene, like it's a full 2 minutes of deleted scenes, like of her live tweeting the whole thing while they are watching the movie. And it is so funny. I'm sort of glad they cut it just because like, but not because of Donna, because they show like imagery of the movie too. And it's like kind of bloody and gross. And I'm just like, I don't need to see that when I'm watching Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
They could just cut that out and have only Donna's lines in there. That would be fine.
Yeah. Love it. So I actually found out that they used a 1986 film called Blood Hook as the imagery. I always figured that they probably like shot something.
Filmed their own thing.
Yeah. But really cool. It's actually a comedic horror, which you might have found as well. It's like,
oh, I didn't know it was comedic.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't. From the scenes that we see, at least.
Yeah.
But it's apparently about a killer who tries to snag a Wisconsin teenager during a fishing competition.
Oh my god. Yeah. There's that one part where like. Actually, I think that might have been in the deleted scenes, and it was like bloody and stuff. But because when she says sorry about your jaw, son, or whatever, like half of that was couldn't really tell what was going on, but like in the deleted scenes, he like the killer guy like hooks this guy's ear with the fish hook and like pulls his ear off, and it's like real nasty and gross.
I wonder if they labeled as comedic thriller later because it was so funny that it was bad.
Yeah,
you know?
Maybe, because like I don't know, maybe the 80s was like, we'll have to watch it. I would watch it, honestly. Maybe I'll watch that this Halloween.
Let's watch it and be texting or on FaceTime so we can make fun of it together.
Oh my god. Okay, well now we're in DC and Jen is back, which is great. We haven't seen her in a while. But yeah, we're basically learning that they won before they even had elections. We learned that Congressman Murray, who, you know, Ben is running his campaign, is ahead 18 points. His opponent is out of money, so they won basically. And Ben says that April can head back to Pawnee early, and April runs without looking back and crashes the champagne. And I love Jen's line though, like, "Who is that? Gone but never forgotten." I'm just kidding.
So funny. Oh, April.
Yes.
She's all, especially me, especially everyone.
Yeah, exactly. But Jen kind of immediately moves on. Like she's done this before. This is Ben's first moment, but Jen's kind of like, okay, yeah, great. Okay, we won. What's next? Kind of thing. And that's the whole like chicken parm and Blade Runner moment, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I love it.
Like job wise.
I love her delivery. Yes, Ben. I am talking about like job wise. Like
I know when
That's
she
so
says that,
funny.
I actually kind of had a flashback to like when their roles were reversed on Step Brothers.
Oh,
I was like, I
yeah.
love that she gets to talk to him like this now.
I know, after he's so awful to her in Step Brothers.
I know. And I do have a confession. I know people like love Step Brothers, but I'm just like, I don't love it. I guess I'm okay with it, but some people, it's like a cult classic. It's like they are obsessed.
That's crazy.
I'm
I did not
just-
know people were obsessed. So it's one of Ivan's favorite movies.
Oh my God. Sean and Sierra, well, especially Sierra, but Sean too, I think. They like will sometimes quote it and I'm like, what's that from? And then they're like, they freak out when I'm
When
like,
you
"Oh,
don't
yeah."
know.
And they love that movie. And I'm just like, I love Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And I love those actors.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for some reason I'm just like, okay, it's just I hate it. I feel like I think the reason I hate saying it is not only because I feel embarrassed that everyone else likes it, but also I feel like a prestigious like bitch when I'm just like, it just seems so like dumb.
It is that
It's
that comedy.
awful.
No, I get it. Like I was gonna say, like it's Ivan's like one of his favorite movies, but it's like I'll watch it with him, but I'm never like,
Yeah.
you know what I feel like watching.
Yeah.
Step
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
So.
sorry, Step Brothers fans, but it's not anything personal. Anyways, so okay. Now we are trick-or-treating. Everyone's a princess. Ron has his classic pirate costume. Love that.
Yep.
And then Andy is a cop because he's applying to the police academy, which we learned like a long time ago. We haven't really touched on that in
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah, I think he's having to prep for a lot of stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, he needs to practice his observational skills.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because we haven't heard anything since he was like training with Chris and
Mm-hmm.
Tom, kind of.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
golf cart.
Right. And side note, I totally had this like princess outfit that Diane is wearing. It really reminds me of this like super famous, I think, popular costume where you were Glinda, the Good Witch
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
from Wizard of Oz. And I loved that costume. It was so beautiful and flowy and perfect. And that really reminds me of what Diane is, even though they don't say it. But
It does
I
look
like
like
I
that.
like how they have their little face stars too. It's so
Yeah.
cute.
I know. This is what's beautiful is you see her as a mom here because
Mhm.
she's like, this has been a nightmare. This has been my nightmare having to live this many years in princess, which I could
Yeah.
totally understand. But she is still going all out, dressing as a princess with them, putting all this
Yeah.
makeup and stuff on them to make them feel
Totally.
beautiful. Great mom moment.
Yeah. I know, and I read that like it's kind of funny and ironic because she played a princess or whatever.
Yeah.
But I
She-
feel like that's a
she-
totally
She
different.
played a
princess
real
vibe.
badass princess, though.
She played a warrior
Yeah.
princess. She's not playing Glinda. I
Right.
mean, Glinda's a warrior in her own way, but
Right.
it's different.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's different. Very different.
So,
Love it.
but well, Diane gets a vice principal emergency because some idiot kids were caught pooping on the soccer field.
Bacchitis.
I was thinking that too. I was like, it's totally Bacchitis. Oh my god! Or like some kids that Bacchitis paid or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh my god, so hilarious. And then Ron is all excited because he thinks he's going to get out of trick or treating, and
Yeah.
Andy's like, "No, like we'll take him around. Like it's fine." And Ron is like, and this was like kind of what I was talking about earlier with my like weird question of Diane's choices. I know
Mhm.
that they've been dating for a while, but a part of me would be like, am I going to leave my kids with like a guy I've been dating for like a couple of months?
If
Weeks? I don't know
that,
how long it's
right?
been.
Like
Yeah, I don't
weeks
even know,
probably.
maybe weeks.
And he's not someone you know, like it's not like she's dating a guy who has kids and their kids aren't here. Right?
Yeah,
Like
it
that
seemed weird
is
to
different.
me.
Yeah. It's like how much time has he really spent with just the kids without Diane there? You're out in public. That's the other thing. Like in the middle of where they could be snatched by anyone. I know this is such a pessimistic view, but like it's real.
No, that's how
Um,
I felt.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I am a 100%
And I know
in
Ron
agreement
is
with you.
trustworthy, but well,
Yeah.
and they do this. I feel like, I mean, look, maybe people do this more in real life than I realize, but like they do this in TV very frequently. I think about this. If you're a Friends fan, Jennifer Aniston's character Rachel leaves her baby with the new employee at Ralph Lauren because she wants to go make a presentation, and she's like, and she does. They do show, and I'm glad that I guess this is something. But she comes back and she has kind of a weird look, like, oh, should I do this? And then the employee is like, and she does end up like kissing him and stuff later, but she barely met him. And he's like, I'm great with children. I promise it'll be fine. Like, whatever. And I mean, I guess that's different a tiny bit because they're in an office and somebody could see him do something, but still, like, he can run out and say it's his baby. Like, it was just so bizarre to me. And I feel like, and I'm not trying to be high and mighty, like, I just, as you know, observationally, I was like, this seems sketchy to me.
Yeah. No. And I can speak now as a parent that I would not do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm with you.
So, anyways, but yeah, so that's what happens. But anyway, it does happen. And I totally, like, I'm with Ron when one of them says they have to go to the bathroom. They have to go to the bathroom. And honestly, I was like, same. I have no idea what to do about that. Do you go inside a stranger's house? Do you take them back home? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. No, she left him with I think that shows you right there that he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You know?
And I will say, okay, well, but this is a little different because this was with my mom, but I don't know why this memory is flashing back to me. When I was younger, we used to have this parade like on the main street of our hometown, and it was a big street. They would never do that now. But anyway, I had to go to the bathroom during that parade, and I think I was in the parade as like majorettes or cheerleading, or I don't know what the hell it was. But I did go into a stranger's house because I really had to go to the bathroom, and my mom, like, I don't know if my mom came into the bathroom with me, but she came to the door, I think, with me. But again, this was a different time. Maybe like in the 2000s, it was like, I mean, for me, that was back in, I don't even know when that was. That was probably like 99, 98, something like that. So maybe like around, and even in 2013 or whenever the hell this was filmed, it wasn't as bad. Like, I just don't think people would do that now.
No, I don't think people would do that now. I agree. Unless they were your neighbor and you knew them, but you're not going to go into like a stranger's house.
Yeah,
I don't think we would have done
if
that
I was
either.
out with my kids, I would take them back home. I would just have to take them back home.
Yeah.
Or find like, maybe there's a McDonald's or some shit like close
nearby.
by. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're not going into a stranger's house.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
poor Ron.
Ron is like, what the hell? I'm out of my league here.
Yeah. I have to say, Andy, like, saying, oh, we'll watch them. We'll keep trick-or-treating with them. It makes my heart hurt a little bit because I don't think I've thought about it like this before. But in the last 2 episodes, he's been so wonderful with these kids that it like, there's like a time where April doesn't know if they're going to have kids. And, you know, before they make the decision to have kids. And it's just like, what if Andy never got to be the dad? Because look at him. He like thrives there with those kids. So
yeah,
I'm happy it ended up working for him. But I'm glad we see this snippet ahead of time.
Yeah, and it's nice too because I feel like at this point, like, since he doesn't know, he's so far ahead of being a dad that I know that is like a sad moment later. But at this point, it's like it's nice to see him be like kind of an older brother, like uncle, but like fun. You know what I mean? Like more brother than uncle. But yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, well, now we're back at City Hall, and I love, again, here's where we're getting more Donna. She's live tweeting everything, shouting at the camera, and it is Blood Lake. Why are you having a leisurely canoe jaunt on Blood Lake?
Get your foot out of water, dumbass. I just love the commentary. I would go watch that movie just to hear Donna's comments out loud.
Totally. Also, can I like say something? I think they're in the courtyard.
That's what it looks like.
And I have never noticed that. Except for I think it was in the deleted scenes. It was something about, I can't remember why it stood out to me this time, but they were like something along the lines of like, let's go back inside and do something. And I don't know why I never thought they were in the courtroom or yard. I always thought that they were like inside some sort of like screening room. And I was like, that's so stupid of me because where else in the Parks Department would you have this? Like, right. I mean, I guess you could put it in some conference room or some shit, but the courtyard makes total sense. But I think what also is like weird for me is that it's October in Indiana and no one's really wearing a jacket.
Yeah, I will tell you, in Illinois, in the entirety of my childhood living in Illinois, we never didn't have a winter coat on. Yeah. Sometimes it snowed. Yeah.
So I was kind of confused about that.
It sucked.
And Chris only has one on because it's his, costume. So
right. But it sucks because as a kid, you're like, I want to show off my costume. But then you have to find a way to wear your coat under your costume
or some kind of
way. Yeah. So But yeah, they would definitely be in coats right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I just thought that was worth mentioning.
Yes, for sure.
I think Chris looks handsome as an old man.
Yeah, I think he pulls it off.
He looks great.
Yeah.
And I will say, they don't really show it in the show, but he does have like a pot belly. And that's another one of his fears.
Okay.
It's like a deleted scene part where they really show that. He's not only an old man, but he's also like let himself go a little bit, which is another one of his fears. So that is, I think, also worth mentioning because that definitely is a fear for him.
Yes, for sure.
Oh my gosh, there is a deleted scene with Donna that I love, and I don't even, did I record this? I think I might have recorded this, where Donna, and then I'll show you a picture afterwards, but Donna's like really taking advantage of Chris being kind of like down about his fears and like going to therapy and all these things. Hang on, I think this is it.
That's disgusting. I can't watch this.
Then don't. Go inside.
Dr. Richard Nygaard says that I need to confront my fears. And one of my fears is scary movies. Another one of my fears is growing old and paunchy, which is why I'm dressed like this.
Look, we all get old. Aging is a part of life. Okay. Chris's therapy has been a blessing. Getting body-to-body contact with him has never been easier.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Donna, no.
Okay, there's so many things I have to tell you.
Okay.
That's how I knew that it was outside, because she said go inside.
Okay.
Number 2 is, yes, she said, what you call it? He said the paunchy thing.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but I never really thought about paunch burger being paunchy. I never thought of those, like, I don't use that word, paunchy.
Yeah, I don't either. So I also didn't catch that. Yeah.
So that's the thing. And that's where they showed him having like a little bit of a belly. I don't know what he put in his shirt, but it's a little bit of a belly. And then, oh my gosh, I have to show you the picture that he of Donna when she's hugging him. Her eyes are all wide and like, oh my God, look at what's happening kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It's so
with
funny.
her popcorn in her hand.
Yes. And then this is her like little talking head.
Nice. Oh, I love it.
So anyways, okay. That's a lot of stuff going on in that one little deleted scene, but I loved it so much.
Yes.
Body to body contact has never been easier. So good. Okay. So Leslie is Rosie the Riveter. Friendly reminder, I was that for Halloween a couple years ago,
Yeah,
and nobody
and you
knew, but I
nailed
was
it.
basically Leslie being Rosie the Riveter.
You look so good dressed
Oh my
like
God,
that.
thank you
It was
so
it was really well done. I loved it.
I didn't have to buy anything because I had
Nice.
already had the combat boots and the shirt. Those pants, oh my God, I love those pants. They were like stretchy, but I wear them so often that like bigger girls will understand this, but I think everyone kind of has this where like the middle part, like the seam, the inseams, like I have holes in them because I wore them so
Yeah.
much and they just rub together so much. It's very sad. I need to get some more. And then that headband, I don't even know where the fuck I got that headband. It's, you know, the red
Yeah.
bandana thing. And I very rarely wore it and I was like, this is perfect. It was great.
Love it.
And then Anne is the Olympian, but I thought she was just the Olympic person, but she's actually supposed to be Gabby Douglas,
Oh,
the Olympian
okay.
gymnast.
Yeah.
So good job for that.
Cool. It's on par with the Olympics we just had. So
Yeah, totally.
good timing.
And it was around that year that Gabby Douglas won, so that's totally why.
Yeah, I don't think Shawn Johnson went to that Olympics, and so that's when Gabby Douglas kind of took over, and then the next one was Simone.
Who's Shawn Johnson?
If you look her up, you will probably recognize her. But she was the gymnast. She placed highly in Beijing.
Oh, when I look up Shawn Johnson, it's a soccer player.
SHAWN.
Oh, American gymnast. Oh, yeah, her face looks familiar to me.
Yeah, she's done commercials and stuff.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh my God, she's my age. She was born in 1992. That's wild. She's 4'11".
Yeah, she's tiny, and her husband's
Oh
pretty
my.
tall. I know this because they are influencers now, and she has
Yeah.
some kids. So
Oh my God.
yeah,
That
but
is
she's
hilarious.
tiny.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we are at Ben and Jen. And oh my God, speaking of Ben and Jen, J-Lo and Ben have broke up
I know. Again.
Oh my God, crazy.
Dude.
It's also like, okay, I'm sorry. You guys can like skip ahead 15 seconds if you need to. But I really wanted to listen to Jenny on the Block recently. And so I posted this thing about like, oh my God, I'm listening to this album again. And I totally remember every single song. And like, not every song is a banger. There's really only 2 that I really love to listen to. But then somebody commented on it because I posted on TikTok. And they were like, you know, she didn't even really sing on that. Like there was somebody else. And I was like, what? And they said her name. And I Googled her. And oh my God, it might be, I mean, I think it's real. And it totally makes sense because she sounds like her, but she has a lot of like higher notes that I'm like, what's this? And so maybe it was like a little bit of both. Like this other girl like covered in for like filled in for her a little bit, but I was shocked. I was like, oh wow, because she's all over the internet. This girl that apparently like sang for her, and it's a real thing. So, it's a real thing that like people talk about it, but I don't know if it's like legitimate. So, just saying.
I wouldn't be surprised though, because I honestly feel that J-Lo is a better dancer and a better actor than she is singer.
Yeah, I agree. And it's weird because like I could see doing that maybe for your first or something album, but like she had already had like, you know, Waiting for Tonight and all that kind of stuff like going on. So I was like, maybe she was just over it by that point. I don't know. But anyhow, so that's a thing. Moving on. Sorry about that. But okay. So Jen is talking to Ben and saying that this guy wants him to run this businessman's campaign from Florida. And I love Leslie's like swamp sharks.
Yeah.
For alligators. Yeah. That's a really good name.
I love it.
Honestly.
Yeah. They're scarier to me than sharks though.
Really?
Yeah, because they roll you.
They can get on land.
Well, that too.
Roll you.
Yeah. If they get you in the water, they grab hold of you and then they roll and take you to the bottom of the lake or whatever, and drown you basically. And then they eat you.
Okay, well.
Just FYI. Stay away.
Okay, well, try to stay away from sharks and alligators and swamp sharks. So, okay. Unless you're Steve Irwin, rest in peace. Or Steve Irwin's son, who I follow on TikTok, and he's wonderful.
Yeah. He and his daughter. They're both wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this makes Leslie super sad, which, you know, I hate to see.
Yeah. She's super frazzled. Like, she doesn't know how to feel. Because you think about it, we've talked about this before, right? When he talks about taking Congressman Murray's campaign in the beginning is, do I support him or do I want him here? So it's hard.
It is really hard. Yeah, and I mean, as a campaign manager, if you're working for the Barkley Group, I mean, I'm sure you have to go all over the place. You know what I mean? So that's definitely something that would be in the back of my head, too, of like, is this the last one? Or are you just going to do this one and then you're back? Or like, how's that work? Yeah, it's a lot to think about. And we talked about this already with the first one, but of like, you know, this is a really nice opportunity, a great opportunity. You love doing this clearly. So like, I don't want to hold you back, but also what about our future? Because I just looked at this house and whatever. So it's a lot going on in that little moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Very well acted because you feel all of that in like a 10-second clip.
Totally. For sure. Well, now we're trick-or-treating and Andy is saying that this man is just as a nerd and the woman is a crazy witch. And honestly, they did make that lady look kind of busted. I felt like they put like dark circles under her eyes or something because I was like, that's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was accurate.
I could not find them on IMDb. Like, I didn't know if they were maybe featured extras or something. You know, I would have reached out to them, but
absolutely,
that guy had a line, so I thought that he would have been listed, but I didn't see him, like, even in the extra or additional crew or whatever. So I'm not sure.
Bummer.
But they did a great job, and it was really fun.
Yeah, shout out.
Neither one of them is in costume, by the way. That was the funny part. So now we have where one of the girls like broke the other girl's tiara and Ron breaks the other one to even things out. And oh my God, I mean, he is just so out of his league, like I already said. And I mean, I think a lot of people would be. He's being thrown so many different things of like how to handle these girls. And that's hard.
I mean, I've worked with kids for so long. But it would take me a second to sit and be like, okay, what's the best way to handle this? And I think he's so frazzled by what's coming at him so quickly and they're screaming at him kind of. And he's just like, okay, the first thing that comes to mind is I break the other one too, you know?
Yeah. And,
So
you think about it, and Ron hasn't really dealt with kids ever.
yeah,
Like-
he's going in blind completely to this. Like he basically
he's
wasn't a
never
kid
dated
himself.
anyone that has kids, or exactly. And it wasn't like, I like to think of Ron like almost side like with Dwight kind of, but Dwight had that thing where like he's really good with babies because he had to raise the one before him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ron did that.
No.
And his mom was not like the most probably like maternal, or maybe
No, not from what we've seen.
Yeah. So yeah, tough one.
Yeah. I look at it and I'm like, I'm not really sure what you do, right? Like, okay, well now she gets to wear your tiara because you broke hers. You get the broken one because you broke it. Like that.
Yeah, I feel
but
like
it's
I
not
would
even
say, first we need to apologize. Like,
Mhm.
why did you do that? You need to say sorry to your sister. And secondly, because you did that, you're not allowed to wear your tiara now. I'm not
Yeah.
going to break it, but you're not allowed. So now neither of you can have it, and that's your consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So.
that's, everybody's going to handle it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just how Ron dealt with it. And
I know, and you would think that he would know, like breaking a tiara is not going to help.
it's not. It's not.
Breaking anything, even for an adult, is not going to help. So, but
Yeah.
again, like you said, he's just frazzled. He's like, I don't freaking know.
Right.
So, anyways, okay. So now moving on at City Hall, Leslie's talking to Anne about the Ben situation, and Anne is trying to cheer her up and says like, "Oh, we should really scare Tom when he comes out of the bathroom. That would really help you be happy." And I love that Leslie's like, "Yeah, that would make me happy." Side note, in the producer's cut, it says Tom is being a ghost because he has a cash flow problem right now.
Okay.
And so he can only do the sheet. And then there's also a deleted scene where he says that it's really expensive sheets, so he's not going to cut holes in them because Anne is like, what are you even supposed to be? Like,
okay, that was
what?
my question. What is he? So,
yes,
a ghost.
he is a ghost. And he is wearing that sheet over his head in the deleted scene. But then Anne is like, what the hell even is this? And so that's why, like, when he comes out of the bathroom, he just has it around his neck because he's like, but yeah, so he is in debt, as we know.
Yep.
And so he didn't really buy a costume.
Great.
And then we have the awful moment where it turns out that they actually scared Jerry instead of Tom because Jerry was coming out of the bathroom, and then he farts and has his fart attack, which is awful. And
Yeah.
thankfully Anne is there to monitor this and like see
Yeah.
that this is an issue. You know what I mean? Like call 911. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And it's so sad because Tom is so awful to him, and Jerry still says sorry, guys.
I know.
It's
Poor Jerry.
awful.
This is like pre-heart attack. He's not in a costume, and Jerry's honestly one of the people I would expect to be in a costume.
I didn't even think of that.
Donna's
Yeah,
not in
why
one,
wasn't
but I
he?
get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Jerry's
Yeah, I
usually
don't know why he wasn't
pretty
in a
festive with
costume.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah. Because he did wear his little pumpkin shirt last time.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
yeah.
Side note, these fart noises were added in after the fact. So it was silent while they were shooting.
Okay,
Just
interesting.
FYI. And apparently Mike Schur worked a really long time on what they were going to sound like, how long it was going to sound like.
Oh, my
There's like a
gosh.
plethora of fart noises out in the world to be used for like
Love it.
TV film purposes. And so he wanted to make sure that it was right. And it worked.
Love it.
Well, now we're at the hospital, and Tom is trying to make up for being awful by getting him magazines and word jumbles and stuff. And then Anne is there in her nurse outfit taking care of him. And I totally forgot that she was a nurse part-time.
Oh, yeah.
She's been at the
She also has that
Parks
job.
Department, you know? We always forget. We talked about this before, that we kind of
Mhm.
always forget that Anne is a nurse because she's never really at the hospital, and they show her kind of sporadically there. But this time, especially because we're like, she works at the Parks Department now, duh. And
Right.
you're like, oh, right.
That's
Forgot about
right.
that.
She only does that part-time.
Yes. Dr. Harris is back, who we
Love
love.
him.
Cooper Thornton
Yeah.
is this actor's name. We interviewed him a minute ago, and it was a great interview. I'll post
Mhm.
that in the show notes, so take a listen to that. Maybe I'll post it again. I don't know, but he's the best. It was so great.
Yeah. So he's so good as Dr. Harris too. Some of my
So
favorite
good.
lines in this show are Dr. Harris. You're welcome is one of my favorites
You're
of all
welcome.
time.
Yeah. And he's taking everything just so seriously because Tom just wants him to say fart attack. Like,
I know.
Just say heart attack. What would you say this is called? Oh my God. And that is a real thing. Gastrointestinal distress is common during a cardiac event. I was curious about that myself, and I looked it up, and it's very true.
Okay.
They obviously, went overboard with it, but gas in the stomach or heartburn or indigestion, feeling like throwing up, those are all symptoms that can happen during, a heart attack. And also sometimes those kinds of things, those symptoms after a meal can feel like a heart attack, but they're not a heart attack. So you really do have to be kind of careful with it,
Wow.
And I do that. I get that a lot. I always have GI issues, I feel. And I never feel like I'm having a heart attack, but I definitely sometimes will feel like a bubble, in my chest. And I've recently, within the last year, have experienced a lot of heartburn, especially after I drink like wine, especially.
Interesting.
Or common acidic stuff like red meats and red sauces and stuff. But yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So anyways, Dr. Harris is just like really real about it and says like, well, they did cause it after like saying that they're so nice to visit and everything.
He has no qualms to call them out on it. There are a lot of balloons and flowers, and I'm intrigued. Like, I can totally see Leslie being in charge of all of that. But like, is there this little life of Jerry's outside of work? Kind of like his family that we don't know, that like, his neighborhood, he's part of like his neighborhood bowling league or something where like all these people are sending him stuff. I think it could be either way.
That's very true.
Yeah. Where's Gail?
I know. I guess they just didn't want to show her yet. She probably comes when they're gone.
Yeah. I did like, so my initial thought, like watching this to take notes, was when we come in, right? I'm like, where's Gail? It doesn't make sense that your wife isn't there. But then it kind of sounds like, okay, they've been visiting a lot. So maybe he's been in there for a day or two and Gail had to go back to work or something. And, as long as it's not like the minute after, it makes sense that she might not be there.
Right. I agree. Yeah. And speaking of Gail, I mean, he says this is a wake up call, and he says he wants to take care of himself more and wants to have more time with Gail and the girls and stuff. And this is kind of sparking Leslie to create this garage sale moment for Jerry to help pay his hospital bills. And oh my God, this line about insurance is probably my favorite line. It's just sad and good and funny and real. Leslie is saying that the insurance for the Parks Department is really bad, or the government is really bad. So this is why they're having the garage sale to raise money for his bills. And she says, one time I sprained my wrist and my insurance company said having a wrist was a pre-existing condition.
Yep.
Oh, it's so sad. We were just talking about insurance, so it's not really a joke, but it's so...
Yeah. It's really frustrating. Like, Ivan at times will be like, why do I even have insurance when I still have to pay all this?
Yeah.
This money. So it's frustrating.
Mean, I will say I'm lucky for my current insurance. I think it's better than my last one for sure. But it's still like there are certain things that you just shouldn't have to pay for.
Yeah.
Andy is selling things. April's selling things. We're just kind of going through the garage sale, seeing who's selling what. I love that this hat. April's like $900, and Andy's like, "Yep, that's about right.
All right." So well done.
And Ron's selling. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yours is going to lead into mine.
Well, I was just saying Ron's selling his table that he made. And I think $500 for that handmade beautiful table is good.
Hell yeah. You can barely get like a not handmade table for that now.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Even for like early 2000s or like mid 2000s, whatever. I think that's a good price.
I agree. And April's asking him like, when do I get to meet your lover? Right. She's holding a marshmallow shooter that I'm pretty sure they bought.
Yeah, like
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now they're like, okay, we've outgrown it now, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, honestly, I could just see her
just
having that around
to shoot people at the garage sale. That's also true.
Yes.
But I love how she's, it's a nice reminder that, hey, she hasn't been here. She hasn't met Diane. Like she's got to get looped back in to all this stuff.
Yeah, and I think she has like a really mature moment, which is wild. I mean, it seems so common sense to pretty much, I think, everyone else, because Ron's like, well, we've hit a bit of a rough patch because trick-or-treating was wild, and April just like really simply says, I'm sure she'll get over it if you say sorry.
Yeah.
And Ron's like,
nah.
But like, what?
Yeah.
And then this is where I had my note about like, do you think that she should have left them with him? Like, obviously Ron's actions weren't good and doesn't justify it at all, but I don't think that I would have left them with Ron.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Like, I don't think it's all... It is Ron's fault. But, like, it's not all on him. So, but that's where I love that she comes back. And she does take the, like, adult path and does say sorry for, like, yelling at him, which we'll get there later. But
yeah.
Anyways.
Right now, I think we do have a good mature Ron moment when in his talking head where he's like, I don't think I'm, ready for the family part of this, right? Like, I really like Diane, but I don't think I'm ready for the kid part. I think that's an awesome thing to realize before you get too deep into this. Like, it's better to know now, hey, I'm not ready for this commitment.
Like, I'm not
rather
sure.
than getting super connected and having the kids get super duper connected to you, and then you be like, oh, I can't do this, you know. And I know, like, we'll see later in the episode, he does come to the realization that it's worth it for him to be ready, but I don't fault him for this.
But he's like, he should have been honest, or he should be honest about that now. I mean, he gets there eventually, but it just takes him a little bit because, again, he hasn't had to deal with this. So
yeah, he really has.
Anyhow,
yeah.
Anna's selling all her boyfriend boxes, which I think is great because we talked about in the last episode. I was really kind of like upset and sad though that the baller time clock is in the Tom thing. I was like, why's she selling that? I want that.
Yeah. Well, and isn't it? It was a gift from Leslie to Tom. So then it was a gift from Tom then to Anne, probably.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah. It sounds right to me if it's,
And then she's getting rid of it.
But if also, like, as a side note though, I kind of like forgot about like everybody she dated. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. She dated Chris and Andy. And oh yeah, as much as I hated Tom and Anne, like I kind of like forgot that even happened because it wasn't real to me.
Yeah. I block that entire relationship out of my brain.
Also, who is Rob? There's a Rob on the end, and Mark isn't there.
Mark isn't there. That was my point. Which,
pissed.
Did she change for Mark?
Yeah, great question. Great question, honestly. Not much, I don't think.
Which can, if we're getting super analytical about it, can show you really how into the relationship she was.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think she really, I think that the writers had not gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
So as far as like who she is when she dates people kind of thing. But I mean, I guess Andy was before Mark and she definitely changed for him. So I don't know. Strange.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like she didn't have enough drive in her relationship with Mark to change for him.
Yeah, that's fair. I did listen to the Parks and Recollection thing because I use it as a resource sometimes. I listen to it on literally like 1.5 speed so I can get done in like 20 minutes. Because they don't, again, like I said, they do have some random tidbits, but they did talk about how like they were so focused once Ben and Chris came in, they were just kind of so focused on moving forward that they didn't really think about like talking about Mark as much because you think that maybe they'll talk about him once he left or whatever, but they don't really mention him. And they were just like, they saw, I think, how good of a fit that Leslie and Ben were, not necessarily romantically at first, but just like how good they were, that they wanted to move like that relationship dynamic and stuff with the new people and stuff, that they just really wanted to move forward and not talk so much about the past and stuff, which I get. But, and I do like that they kept that picture in Ron's office that Mark painted or drew or whatever the hell for that contest. But I still think, I don't know. I feel like they should have mentioned something for Anne dating somebody, but I guess it was kind of not super necessary, but I was just like, boo.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to put a random ass person's name in there. Who the fuck is Rob? Okay, get out of here.
I know. I couldn't tell if he was like the, one of the cowboys or.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either. It's okay, whatever. I will say there's a producer cut where Chris actually buys his own boyfriend box like from himself, and he says that it would be like good for his identity, and says like, and he has a really mature moment where you're like, wow, maybe therapy is having an effect, because he says to Anne, enough of these boxes, why don't you date yourself? That's a good idea, and I'll take this box from you. And it's really nice.
Oh, I love that.
And sincere. It's weird, but he gets all his stuff back, I guess.
Yeah. Does he pay for it?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, good. Okay. Cool.
But it goes to Jerry, so.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of that, okay, to Jerry, did you notice that the banner says Jerry's kid's dad?
Yeah.
What the hell? Why
What?
doesn't it just say Jerry? Why did they make that
Yeah,
speech?
I
I feel like it's one of those things like where she posted the where they printed the link to the campaign instead.
Well, are they trying to like make it seem like he's raising a family still, because all of his kids are out of the
Maybe.
house too.
Maybe.
So it's like
so funny.
you also don't need to say Jerry kids' dads because they're not kids anymore, really.
Right.
That's
Right.
so funny.
Well, Leslie's making a speech and she does use the phrase fart attack very like nonchalantly, like it's just a classic medical term,
Yeah.
which I love. And they're auctioning off things so that they can raise money. And one of them is Perd's autobiography that has been signed. And I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, she delivers
Um,
that just like Perd would. It's very well done.
Totally. And now we're in Florida with the guy who wants to run for governor on the boat. And I love this view of where
Yeah.
they're at. It looks really nice.
Looks beautiful.
And I love this too. This writing is excellent. With the first high profile case was a classic Florida case where a gator ate a man's penis,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. And you think like from the story, I don't know, at the beginning you think that the alligator ate the penis right off of the body,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that I think they mean for that to be your visual.
Totally, but it turns out that somebody cut it off and then threw it in the Everglades, and then an alligator ate it.
Mhm.
And I think it's so hilarious because not only is it like a classic Florida alligator crazy story, but also like they had to just throw in Dan Marino in there to
Yeah.
just like randomly have a Florida like connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also love that Jen's like, why not?
I know. That's one of my favorite moments.
Oh my god,
So nonchalant.
it's so funny. The actor who plays this Florida lawyer yacht man who wants to run for office is named Jack Scalia, and I think he's most known for being in Dallas, the TV show,
Oh, okay.
which is lovely.
Yeah.
He's also in All My Children, a lot of other things. Looks like he has some things that are coming up. Fun fact, in his bio on IMDb, it says that he did 4 triathlons and 6 marathons.
Good for him.
Good for him. That's hard.
Yeah.
I did reach out to his agent, and his agent said that he was interested, and I totally reached out to him. Like, I didn't get anything yet, so hopefully he'll send something for the next episode. But I was totally like thinking, okay, he's in Dallas. He's like a big like name probably,
Yeah.
so he won't message back. But he sounds like he's interested, so I'll follow up and see what I can do. But
So cool.
I know. So anyway, that was him. And then Ben has this like crazy confidence. And I think
Love
that
it.
like face that Jen gives Ben after he says like, we can get you where you want to go. Like, we're not in the business of losing elections. I think that that's a really nice moment for Jen to see Ben like
In action.
really succeeding in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's great. I think you see as the audience, I think it gives us a conflict, because this whole time we're like, go back to Leslie, dude, go back to
Yeah.
Leslie. And then you see him, you see how happy he is working this and how good he is at it. And you're like, damn, though, like you'd be really good at this.
I know.
Aw.
It is funny because I don't think they planned it, but Jen's kind of saying all the bad stuff. Like, you have very little name recognition.
Mhm.
But I do like that it's, they have a balance
Yeah.
of each other. So I think that's good.
Yeah, they're a good team, I think.
Back at the garage sale, Morris is back. We've seen him before. Joe Mandy is his name in real life. He is an actor and a writer, and he was a writer for Parks for sure. He was also on Modern Family and a writer for a lot of awesome things, including Hacks now, which if you have not seen Hacks on HBO, you need to start watching that immediately. There's a lot of Parks people involved. There's a lot of like comedy people just in general that you will love. It's so, so, so good. So
What's it called?
keep an eye
Hacks?
for that. Hacks.
What's it about?
It is about a stand-up comedian in Vegas who has a residency for a very
Okay.
long time. They film a lot in Vegas, and then she wants to kind of be a comedian outside of Vegas and like go back on tour and like all these things. And so she hires this young stand-up / comedian / comedy writer to work with her, and it's kind of just about generational gaps and comedy in general and relationships, and it's like really interesting, but it's also really hilarious. And the guy from Broad City, if you ever watch that show, is like one of the creators of it. It's so funny.
Awesome.
You'll
Okay.
really like it.
Adding it to the list that just keeps growing.
I know. There's so much out there. Anyway, so Morris is back and he's like, you should have put spoilers on all of those tweets. And I totally agree with Donna. Like, if you don't like it, don't follow me. But also, this movie is like 25 years old, so there's really like no spoilers anymore. Okay.
Yep. I was going to ask you, like, how do you feel about that? Because people are like, oh, you spoiled it. I'm like, I'm sorry. If something has been out past a certain amount of time, like maybe let's say 5 to 10 years, maybe. Like How I Met Your Mother, right? Like if I blatantly come out with the ending of How I Met Your Mother, that's on fucking you. like this came out, the finale came out in what, like 2016? Like, get over it.
Well, and especially with the Twitter thing, like, yeah, that's the thing that I don't understand about social media these days. They're like, you shouldn't be posting that, blah, blah, blah. Don't follow me, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Well, and if you read the first tweet and you knew it was going to spoil, why are you reading the rest of them?
Exactly. And then the whole like, well, because that was the argument. He was like, it's. You said some pretty like profane stuff, whatever. And again, it's like, if you don't want to look at it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So get out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I oftentimes comedians come out and say the same thing, right? Like if you don't like my comedy, you don't have to watch it. Like if I cross lines.
Unless they're being like super offensive to like marginalized people, then that's something different.
Yeah.
Because this whole bullshit about like, you can't say anything anymore, that's fucked. Like, you're stupid. Come up with something. That's because you're not funny.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. Like, I think that's stupid. But if there's like something where the comedy is just not for you, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
And that's fine too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, now Tom is trying to sell his clothes, which I love. There's a lot packed into this episode because we won't notice until after. But, this is the start of his business idea. He's trying to sell his clothes, and this dude is like, what? It's used. You can't sell this jacket for like $300 when you've worn it.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Also his prerogative. It's his stuff.
Yeah, totally. If I was a consumer, I probably for $300 at a garage sale, no, wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and that's your choice, right? Like
that's your choice. And so I'm like, Tom, you're not going to make any money, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, if you spent that money to add the scorpion, right? Like it's nice.
That's something different.
But I'm going to say, hey, if you decide to drop the price, let me know. But I'm not taking it for $300. Sorry.
Yeah. So this guy who plays this this actor's name is Ryan Radis. He was in quite a few things: Ray Donovan, NCIS, most recently Girls 5 Evo, which I love. But he was kind enough to send me a voice memo explaining his time on set. And let me go ahead and play that for you.
Love it.
Hi, hello. This is Ryan Radis. I just got my kids to bed and I just snuck down to my little makeshift booth to record. And thank you so much for reaching out to me. What a blast from the past. I was on Parks and Recs like 12 years ago. It was so much fun. I had to like look back and think about everything when I saw your email and your Instagram message. Thank you for reaching out to me. And I'm sorry for the late reply. It was a long day and I didn't see it until I was home. So thank you. How did I get the job? So it was a normal audition. I got a casting notice and I went in. And I remember, I think I did it once and I knew it went well and I got a small adjustment and then did it and it was on tape. And then I think a day or two later, I got pinned. And then the same day or the next day, I booked it. And then the day of where I was filming, I was a big fan of the show. I had a few friends who worked on the show, and on the crew and writers, and just loved that cast. And so I was very excited that I got to be in a scene with Aziz, who was very kind, a gracious scene partner. We played around for a few takes, and he wanted to make sure that there was coverage on me during the improv. I think the final edit was the script, but it was just a fun experience, and he was a very kind scene partner, and the crew was just super lovely, and it was a great experience. It was a lifetime ago. I'm now a dad, married, and 2 kids and 3 dogs. So that's why I'm recording this so late, and I'm sorry I'll be getting this to you even later. But no, it was just an overall just a wonderful experience. Not anything to promote. I think in September on the CW, I filmed an episode of The Chosen, which will I think be out, and that was also a great experience. So I think that's it. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I love Parks and Rec, so keep on keeping up. Thank you.
Yay, that was so fun. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So nice.
What a different perspective, though, to think about. Yeah, it was a lifetime ago, and now you have like a whole ass family.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it's so funny that he was saying, Ryan, that that you said like it was too late or whatever. Like, I didn't get to my review of the show until like a day before we were like I was like reviewing this yesterday. So usually I give people a couple days to say if they want to do it, and then I send over the questions and all these things. So it was really lovely that people sent back stuff so quick, because I was like, I'm sorry, I'll add this into the next episode if you can't get it. Like, I get that it's late and all these things, but so I'm very glad and so just gracious that you sent that in. It was so fun. And yeah, we'll definitely be able. I haven't watched The Chosen, but I would watch your episode. So appreciate that. And nice to hear about Aziz being a really nice scene partner. So, and how cool to be on, on set with a show that you have been a fan of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A dream,
Awesome.
Probably. It's awesome.
Yes. Well, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. And break a leg and all your things that you're doing. Well, so Diane is stopping by the garage sale now, and this is where we talked about she is saying sorry. So obviously he could reciprocate, and he totally fails. And it's a valid question of like, don't you even feel like a tiny bit bad about breaking this? And he like just doesn't know how to handle it. And I think he just hasn't had a relationship with this like maturity level maybe or something.
Yeah, look at the women he's dated.
He's just, you said what?
Look at the women he's dated.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I think this is such a real representation of like real life situations, because most of the time I would say both parties have something they didn't think through before the situation that's led them here. So most of the time it should be a two-way apology. And I love that Diane notices, I shouldn't have yelled at you. I know I put you in a tough spot. Like I didn't even ask if you were comfortable taking care of the kids, like all this stuff. I should have made sure, right? Like, so that's her part. His part is, I shouldn't have broken the tiara. I'm sorry that I ruined their Halloween. I'm sorry that I let you down. Like, and he's just, you look nice today. Bro.
Yeah, and then the pause of like, don't you feel bad? And he's like, okay. And she's like, nope, too late.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I'm on her side with that. Like, no, you don't need time to think about that. Also, I am curious. This is totally like not within the like realm of the show. It doesn't matter really, but I am curious. Like, how did he drop them off, or did he drop them off? Did Andy just drop them off, and then that's why she had to call him and like leave a screaming message, or like how'd that work? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great.
Because wouldn't she have yelled at him before, like when she dropped them off, or maybe she just called him again?
This is the way I could see it happening is him calling her because he doesn't know what to do because they're screaming. So she has to come back home, get them, and she's in front of the kids the whole time. And so she doesn't want to lose it in front of them.
Maybe.
Like she's trying to calm them down, and Ron books it. So she calls him after.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
Yeah. I don't know if Ron would leave them with Andy and just say, good luck, bro.
Yeah.
I hope he wouldn't.
I don't know. Or I could see them dropping him off, and then Ron just leaves, and Andy's like, okay, I'll make sure they get inside.
Yeah. Gosh.
Anyways, but I like yours better though, so I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, and then he's like, oh well, relationship over, and April can totally tell that he's like really hurting inside, and like, oh my god, you're so sad, but he's just like coming off as a stubborn ass. And Andy's so funny, he thinks he's sad. Oh my god, we can tell why you're sad, and I think it's because you didn't sell your table.
I think it's too expensive.
It's probably too expensive. Oh, Andy. So dumb.
He was there for all of it, and he just
I know, right?
all over his head.
So now we're auctioning some more, and Leslie takes a call from Ben saying that he does. Oh, go ahead.
Which is that correct? She's in the middle of working an auction. Should she be taking a phone call?
I could see her taking it because it's during the auction and Anne's there.
Fair.
And it's like an important call because she knew that he was at the meeting. I could see that.
Okay,
I'm not mad.
that's
about
fair.
it. But anyway, yeah, Ben says like, well, he wants me to run his campaign from Florida. So, and then she's like having this moment, well, you got to take it, right? So, and then I mean, Ben still wants to talk this through and make sure they're both on board. He just wants to like make sure that he does this right and talks to her. But
Which I
Leslie
think
goes
is great.
back. What's that?
Which I think is great because sometimes
Oh,
these
yeah.
situations, right? What if for some reason she finds out from someone else and Ben hadn't mentioned that it was an option? Like,
Yeah.
I think he's communicating the correct amount.
Or if he just says like, I'm going to do this and
Right.
doesn't
Oh,
talk to
gosh.
her about it, you know?
Yoicks.
So this is good.
Yes.
But it's still scary.
Mhm.
So anyways, Leslie takes this feeling of like being out of control out on the auction, and she wants to make everyone happy through Jerry being happy so they can all be happy, and then she auctions off Anne. Oh my god.
She's
I also
spiraling.
love that line. Oh, total spiral.
Yeah.
But I love that line of like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm definitely not thinking what you're thinking. And then she makes up this statistic of like 3 out of 4 married couples meet at spontaneous auctions.
That's such
How
a
did she
high
come up
number.
with this?
Like, if she
Oh
had
my
chosen
God.
a lower number, there could have been some sort of belief system to it. But
Yeah.
75% is so high.
Well, and then like this guy, while they're having this fight, argument,
Mhm.
situation, whatever, volunteers $100, and Anne looks at him and he's hot. So she's like, okay, fine,
Okay.
whatever.
Let's see what happens.
They're both so cute. This $200
Yeah.
guy is cute too. Also,
Mhm.
like, where have these cute boys been in Pawnee?
Yeah. Why is she dating like Rob?
Yeah.
And the cowboy.
And Tom?
Yeah, Tom.
Come on.
Pawnee's not that too big where like she hasn't run into these guys before. You know?
And they're at a garage sale for the town government?
Yeah. Also,
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyways, this first guy I think is played by Eric Flenner, but he has no information anywhere, like no pictures or anything or social media. So I don't know what happened to him or what's going on, but it does seem like he's been in a lot of horror movies, which is interesting. But I wanted to reach out to him because I thought he did a good job and he's very cute. So, so good job to him.
Uh-huh.
The $200 guy is named Donnell Turner, and he has been in General Hospital, Most Wanted Santa, which is a Tubi show, which kind of looks like a Hallmark kind of movie, which
Okay.
I would love to watch. Lots of other
Love
things,
those.
a lot of commercials, stuff like that. I did reach out to him, so hopefully he gets that. I'd love to hear from how
Yeah.
that day went on set. But yeah, they both did a great job. And then, oh my God. Gross. We see the pawn shop guy for the first time. We don't know he's the pawn shop guy, but we as Parks people know that he is. And
Does
he
he-
bids $900 to win.
Yeah. Does he ever have a name?
Yes. So his
Okay.
name is Herman. I have a whole thing on this.
Okay, thank
his
you.
name is Herman LERPISS. He is a part of the LERPISS family. And if you would like to know, okay, you guys, if you want to know about the LERPISS family, Mike Schur came up with all of these townspeople that are in Pawnee that have the last name of LERPISS. And it's this huge, sprawling, generational family situation in Pawnee. And if you want to hear more about it, you should definitely follow Citizens of Pawnee podcast, because Brian, who runs that podcast, who has been on our show while you were on maternity leave, has a whole thing about it. And he's the one who informed me that it was a whole family, because I knew that there were a couple LERPISses, but I did not know that there was like 20, well, not 20, there's like 10 of them. One of which is Morris, who talks to Donna about spoiling the
No
movie.
way.
He is a LERPISS. They're related somehow. The guy who says, he meets Chris at the bar where they're having dinner with Professor Linda, and he's like, bye friend, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he also says the paunch burger thing, but they taste real good. Like, their burgers will kill you. He's a LERPISS. A lot of these like random ass Pawnee people who come back all the time, who aren't actually random at all.
That's
They are LERPISS
amazing.
I know. It's nuts.
Mike Schur,
And
you beautiful
yeah,
human.
And it's funny because like they talk about this, like if you ever on a deep dive of like Parks and Recollection or any other thing, Mike Schur will like randomly be making up the bios for the LERPISS family, and we'll meet more as we go on. But yeah, it's wild.
Wow. That's amazing.
But it's really funny because after the first guy is like 900 is too much, I can't do it. I love Leslie's like, oh well, what are you gonna do to her?
Yeah.
Mud pit belly flops and get some Thai food, and I'm kind of with Leslie where I'm like, that's, and then the nitrous thing.
Yeah, it's definitely
like,
not as bad
as
I thought it was gonna be. I love that the first guy is like, I wouldn't sell him to him though. Just one man's opinion.
Yeah, totally.
So good.
Oh my God. Yeah. And this guy is Richard Birch. That's his name, the actor's name. And it's so wild. I don't know. He seems like such an amalgam to me because he's been, or Enigma, I guess I should say. Enigma is what I meant to say. He has 4 IMDb credits: Parks and Rec, You're the Worst, Animal Kingdom, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He doesn't have any contact information. And a part of me is like, did he want to do other stuff? How did he fall into Parks and Rec? Because he's in 11 episodes of Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
as
that's a lot.
Herman Lerpis. And I'm just like, maybe he got in these shows and was just like, okay, I'm done now. Thank you. Like, I don't know. But anyway.
Oh, so interesting.
So anyhow, okay. Back to, yeah, if you have any questions about the Lerpis family, let me know, because it's kind of interesting to me, honestly. This like little random subsect of Parks. Anyway. Okay. So Donna's counting her money, which I love. She made a lot of money. Tom gets this great idea to rent his jacket, rent a swag. It's a total Tom just coming up with something on the spot. He's really good at this.
He is.
And so it's totally believable that he would come up with this in the moment. You know what I mean? I love that.
Yeah. This, I had to look this up for teens, tweens, and everything in betweens. I looked this up because I was like, what is the difference between teens and tweens? And does this even make sense? So I looked it up and it is right here. So a tween is someone that's like from the ages of 8 or 9 to 12 or 13.
Yeah,
so
because you can't say teen at the end.
You can't? Oh,
13,
I see
14,
what you're saying.
15.
Yeah. Because
you know?
sometimes people call those preteens.
Oh.
But this is a tween because I think it goes all the way down to 8. Usually preteens are like 11, 12.
Maybe.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, my mom used to use the word tween, I think. I used to use that. Or maybe it was like in the magazines or something. I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
And then obviously teen is anyone from 13 to 19 because of the teen in there. However, the word tween comes from, sorry, I can hear my baby giggling and it's hilarious. So I'm going to lose it. Okay. So the term tween comes from in between teen.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need the everything in between because tween
means
covers
between.
that.
Yeah, I think it's just a nice catchphrase.
It is. It's a beautiful catchphrase. But I was like, what does this mean? So that's just the little, I had to look it up.
A little tidbit.
So, yeah.
I know. And I don't know how young he goes. Because I guess if you think like in between, he could just be like encompassing everything, like 7-year-olds or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure how young he goes. But I know this is definitely meant for like middle school, high school. So
yeah. I'm intrigued if he would have stuff that would fit 8-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm intrigued too. I'm sure he would. But basically, okay, I kind of skipped right to the punchline, but basically this woman and her son comes up trying to, try on some stuff that Tom has on his like clothing rack. And she's like, I'm not buying this for, $100 bajillion, which I think is like $300 when you're just going to grow out of it in like 5 seconds. And oh my gosh, Kohl's, I meant to say this before. Kohl's has this wonderful, commercial out. It was like a back to school commercial, and it was like this, God, he must have been like 7 or 8 years old or something like this, and he was like, yeah, I'm ready for school. And then you turn around and you turn back and it's like this 15-year-old who is like really tall and trying to fit into the same clothes and everything's stretched out. And I was like, that is a great representation for parents, I feel, because parents always talk about how every kid grows out of stuff so fast. And Kohl's is the place to go to like get that stuff. But I love it so much. So anyways, Tom comes up with this idea to like rent this. And it is interesting because you think about it, and there are actually a lot of rent clothing rental stores, shops, businesses, whatever now. If you've heard of like Rent the Runway, or that's more for like fancy clothes. Like if you're going to a wedding or something and you don't want to spend like $500 on a dress, you can do that.
Great idea.
You can send it back and stuff. So that's like, he was ahead of the game at this point, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I think this is a great idea. I think we're starting to see that Tom finally has an idea that could be legit.
Profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good idea for everybody. Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go for the son first. His name is Elijah Nelson, and he's been in quite a few things. 911 Lone Star, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. He totally has like the early 2000s like windswept bangs vibe going on, because his IMDb, I was like, is this him? And it is. It's just like he grew out of that phase, obviously. And his mom is played by Lara Ingraham, and she has been in quite a few things as well. Weeds, Let Me Be Frank, something called Therapy, which looks cool. I haven't seen it yet, but she did a great job. And that character, like I said, makes a great point for all moms, I feel. Stuff like kids growing out of stuff within 5 minutes. And she was sweet enough to send me a voice memo too.
Yay.
So let's go ahead and listen to that.
Hi, ladies. I'm so excited to be on the podcast. I'm Lara Ingram, and I played Eileen in the episode Halloween Surprise. I am actually most recognized for this because obviously Parks is a beloved show, and it was the inception of Tom's business, Rent-A-Swag. So I refer to myself as Rent-A-Swag mom. I got the job in the traditional manner. I got an audition through my agents. It was actually, I think, the second or third time the office had brought me in, but this role seemed a little bit more tailor-made for me. And I had a family friend in town, and she became kind of my good luck charm because each time she would schedule a visit here, luckily not from too far away, I would get an audition or a callback, and I'd have to send her on the studio tour by herself while I did the audition. So in this instance, I actually booked the job, and I was thrilled. Was I familiar with the show beforehand? Why, yes, I was. Thanks for asking. I was actually in acting class with Retta. That's right. I spent many years in acting class with Retta before she got cast as Donna, and it was so exciting for all of us to see this unfold. And she would still come to class in the early days because she was maybe only filming 1 or 2 days a week. So when I booked the job, I had, read the script, obviously, or the scenes. I didn't get access to the whole script. And Donna and Tom were supposed to be at the same table at the tag sale. So I said to myself, we're going to surprise Retta. We're going to surprise Retta. So on the morning of the shoot, it was not on the studio lot. It was on location. That's right. I think it's called the Penmar Golf Club. It's over on Rose in Venice. So I got over there, got to the parking lot for the actors, got on the shuttle to take me over to set when I got a text from Retta saying, "Are you working Parks today?" And I wrote back, "Surprise!" That's right. So got to set, got the hair and makeup done. And when they brought me onto, or I should say into the big room that became the tag sale room, Retta said, "Ingram." And I said, "Retta." And the director, Dean Holland, said, "Wait, you two know each other?" And we said, yes. So as happens many times, what's on the page is slightly different from on the stage. And it turns out that Donna had her own table across the aisle from Tom's setup. So she can be seen, I think, in the background of the scene, but I was working only with the actor who played my son, who was awesome, and Aziz. And Aziz was great. He pretty much kept himself to himself. We had a good vibe, and the director was awesome. And I got to talk to my actor son's actual mom before the takes. So that was cool and grounding. And it just felt like a very welcoming, inclusive set. And, it was a great shoot, and it was not long. And another funny thing was, I had a commercial audition across town scheduled after that, and I was communicating with my commercial agent saying, of course I'll go there if I'm wrapped in time, but I'm over here basically on the ocean, and this is over there in the valley. So we wrapped. I got in the car and sped. I didn't break any laws. No, I did not. Got to the commercial audition, and they were like, "You're late." And I just had to swallow my tongue or bite my tongue. I didn't swallow it. That would be disastrous. Because part of me wanted to say, do you even know who I am? I just came from the set of Parks and Rec. Because really, I had hustled. I had been thinking about it. I mean, not during the shooting of the scene, because I'm an actor and we focus on the moment that we're in. But I thought, look, the most important thing is this Parks job today, and how cool is this? It's a bonus if I get to the audition in time, and I'm not quite sure why it wasn't communicated, not what set I was on, and not how I'm not any more important than anyone else. But the fact is, I was working a job, and that's why I was late. I was not late because I decided to get a latte on the way and be irresponsible and tardy. Suffice it to say that I did not get a call back for that role, but that's okay. So that's my Parks and Rec story, and it was lovely, and I'm grateful. And yes, there are so many people in that show that, you know, I've met and I know. Fun fact, I used to live in the same apartment building as Darlene Hunt, and she's amazing. It was for a very brief time, but like, what a goodie. And I've met Todd Sherry, as I name drop. And I've seen him perform. And so that was really, really cool. So that's the story. I am Lara Ingram. I have been auditioning quite a bit. It's great that things are picking back up after our successful double strike of last year. I do have a film. You might still be able to see it on Amazon. It's called Let Me Be Frank. Some friends made it, and I basically play a heightened version of myself. Enjoy. And my Instagram is just my first and last name, Lara, Lara, Ingram, Ingraham. I'd love for you to follow, and I love to follow and see new content every day. I find it inspirational. So thank you so much.
Yay, that was so fun.
She should be a voice actor.
Yeah, maybe
I
she
love
is.
her
I don't know.
voice.
I know, me too.
Yeah. And she sounded very Kristen Wiig when what did she say when she sounded like Kristen Wiig? Oh, I don't know. But
do you know who I am part?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, that sounds like a Kristen Wiig character from SNL, and I love it.
And I'm sorry I said Ingraham because of the way it's spelled, but it's Ingram. Sorry, Lara. But yeah, that's awesome. So she talked about Darlene Hunt and Todd Sherry, which are Marsha and Marshall Langman. So that would be really fun to just run into them in your apartment building. I can totally see that. And yeah, totally. I am on her side with being on set for Parks. That's the most important thing at this point in time. And I can't just run over there and like not be late. You know what I mean? Like, hello, this is the thing that's paying me.
Yeah,
what?
right.
But also to know that Retta was in acting class with her. That is so cool.
Yeah,
I
that's awesome.
love that. Oh my God. That is so lovely. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad that you got a chance to send that to me. And yeah, I'll tag her on Instagram. She follows us now on the Park Pals account. So I'll tag her when this episode comes out and you guys can follow her too. But yeah, thank you so much. What a delight. That was great.
Yeah, I know. So wonderful.
And yeah, she was the one who was like, I guess at the inception point of Rent-A-Swag. Love it. So Leslie is visiting Jerry and saying, sorry, we didn't make enough money. Your future has been canceled.
Oh.
But I do think $1,200 is still a lot of money.
Yeah, it helps for sure.
Enough, but it helps. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jerry has a really wise moment here. I really love it. You know, like saying, you know, we don't have any guarantees. And this is something that Leslie really needs to hear. I think you might be able to relate to this like I can too. Like there was a point in time where I was like, if things don't go exactly the way I have them planned, like everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And it's like something you have to realize is that it's okay that not everything goes the way you plan. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's not. But it's okay. You have to be okay with things not going the way you envision them for yourself, because that's just not how life works. So as long as you have your support system and you have the people important to you next to you, like I love this sentiment from Jerry. And I think it really makes us see that even though he's the one that gets made fun of so often, he might be the one that's the most genuinely happy in his life.
Yeah. He has probably the most active life outside of Parks. apart from maybe April and Andy, but they're not old enough to really understand how lucky they are. And I think
Right.
Jerry has that gratitude portion of it, which is really helpful. And speaking to that, I guess I didn't realize until I watched it, and it's so silly because obviously this is what she's doing, but I did not realize how much she was projecting onto Jerry until I analyzed this episode, like how much she was trying to, like when she says your future is canceled, she's speaking to herself a little bit, I think. And that's why this is so important to her, because if she can save Jerry, she can save herself, which she even says that in the auction, like Jerry has to be happy so we can all be happy.
Right.
But I think in this scene in particular, I guess I just didn't realize how much she is equating her life to Jerry's life. And the whole thing about, like, you know, your beach house idea and retirement and stuff like that. Like, I think that's more her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben isn't there. So her future, in her words, is just a big pile of crap now. And she doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, Jerry has this moment where, you know, he really takes this sincerely and says, you know, you never know what's really going to happen. Like, you can't plan for everything. And I think Ron has that moment that he has to remind her, Leslie, of quite a few times, of like, you can't have a blueprint for everything. It's just not, like, you can have ideas and dreams and goals and stuff, but it can't always be exactly how you planned it. And honestly, at this point too, she just hasn't had time to process it either. So I think she's just like going a little like overboard with it, obviously, because she's Leslie.
Yeah.
And I can definitely relate to that. But I love when she's like, you know, as when he says, like, as long as the people that you love are around you, you'll be fine, you know?
Yeah.
I think that really does get to her. But then we have, you know, it was almost too sincere for Jerry for a Jerry moment. So he was like, do you want to stick around and have strawberry jello and watch stories? And she's like, oh my God, your life is so depressing. No, thank you.
Oh, so sad.
And it's so sad too, because she's like having this nice moment with Jerry, but it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too far. She can't stay and have jello with him.
Yeah.
Immediately no. So Ben is now at his office and he's drinking beer, and because he's like kind of depressed about deciding what to do. And Jen says some super valid things, like he is really happy when he's working in this field. He has a really great knack for this. Like, it does seem like something that he's meant to do. But I love that he takes it very seriously when she says, just think about your future tonight, you know? Obviously she means in one way, and he thinks about it in his life,
right?
Which we'll get to.
I love his face when she says, you know, I'm amazing, but more importantly, so are you.
Yeah.
I think she doesn't give those things out very easily. And so, like, this validation, you just see his face light up.
Yeah.
So
big deal. Well, Ron goes to Diane's house now. He's having his moment, his arc moment. He's going with chocolate and flowers and grout cleaner. I noticed you needed grout cleaner, so I got that too.
that is almost sweeter than the flowers and chocolate when it comes to Ron.
I love it. Yeah.
And the fact that he brings a saw for the girls, and he realizes, you know, okay, I'm realizing this wasn't a good idea, but the fact that that to me is he wants to do something with them. He wants to show them something that's important to him. And I think that's so wonderful.
And we talked about this before. He loves teaching. So to share his passions with people is really important. And he wants to do that for the women that he loves, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't really see these vulnerable, honest moments with him. And it's just really raw. Like, he says sorry, he explains himself, but he also is not asking to, like, get back into her life for free. Like, he is explaining that he wants to work for it. He wants to try. And like, explains kind of his backstory too, which I think is somewhat important too.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's a total Ron gift, and he honestly, it is precious, and I think Diane sees the gesture for what it is, and that's really lovely. So I like that a lot.
Me too.
Oh my God. Now we have our best scene ever. It's so emotional. It's so emotional.
Everything.
Maddie, I cried when I watched this. I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't sob, but I definitely cried. I've never cried at this scene. But now that we've gotten this far, oh my God. Leslie's at the house. Okay, let's just set the scene. So Leslie's at the house saying she's got to back out. What's her ass is there? Martha, the real estate agent lady, is there. She's saying she has to back out because her boyfriend can't be there. And it already made me cry before we got there, to be honest. Yeah. And Martha's just like, well, I can't give you your deposit back. There's also like $300. She's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
but I just can't do it.
She's
She
living in the
leaves.
negative. Martha's living in the negative right now.
Martha's just like, I got to get my money, bitch.
Yeah.
I don't care what your life is. Anyway, so then she leaves. Leslie turns around and Ben is there. And before she even like gets to ask like what's even happening, he gets down on one knee. Oh my God, what are you doing? And then I'm thinking about my future. Ugh.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Her face when he opens the box, it's like
So special.
it's like she had a feeling she knew what was coming, but seeing the ring was the validation of this is actually happening.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's
And it's like the whole thing is so them too.
Mhm.
It's so perfect. Like she needs a minute. She keeps interrupting him and he is there for it. And they're looking around at the house and I just love that moment. And I think, I mean, as like obnoxious as some people would probably think that is, to Ben, I think it's like, okay, I'll give you that, first of
Yeah.
all. But secondly, I think it's important, and I want to start doing this too. Like Leslie is like, I need to remember how perfect everything is right this second. I don't ever want to forget how amazing my life is right now.
yeah.
And I think that's wonderful before she accepts,
Yeah.
because it's just like you being self-aware and stuff, and like it's controlling in the most like cutest Leslie way, and it's perfect. And then finally, you know, they're good and they can get, she says yes and they start kissing. And then I love that little moment. Again, so them, marry me? Oh, yeah. Duh.
Yeah. Like, let me finish. I didn't get to finish my question. Let's go back so I can finish my question.
Yeah. And I know this is totally unrelated, but I love Leslie's shirt. I want that shirt.
Yeah.
It has like the red on the top.
I love how they're both dressed for this.
Yeah.
Very, very nicely done. I think with the whole pausing, I think for a lot of guys, it would be nerve-wracking. Like, what the heck? I'm in the middle of asking the most important question of my life and you're asking me to hold on. But for Ben, I think he already knows the answer and she's giving him validation in the way why she's explaining she needs the moment, right? This is so perfect and amazing to me that I need a minute. And I think that gives him that like, okay,
It's
I know
so
this is going to be a
beautiful.
yes, so I can just sit in the moment.
Yeah. Also, did you notice, and I feel like I've noticed this before, but especially this time, I don't know why, it was like a full body shot. I saw that she was in heels and she's still shorter than him. And I just thought it was really cute because I think she is pretty short. I don't know how short, but I think she's like short and he's like, I think he's taller than what TV makes him seem.
Yeah, because to me, he looks like he'd probably be about my height or like an inch taller.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was really cute to see that. Just saying that. And apparently, you probably saw this online too, but that box is the same box that he used for the Nope
button.
2012 button.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really big box. I was like, why the fuck is that
It's
box
huge.
on? Like, why is that there?
Makes you
That's
think that the
not
ring's going to be
unnecessary.
ginormous.
Yeah. Which I still think it is.
Yeah, it's still
to be
nice ring.
honest.
Yeah, it's really
for his
nice ring.
paycheck.
Yeah.
But anyways, and also, you know, where we flip-flopped, where not flip-flop, but like reciprocated, where she gives him the Washington Monument to say to go to move. And so now, I mean, that symbolism is unmatched.
Yeah.
To have like, you do your thing. Now, Ben, you go do your thing. Now we're going to do our thing together in the same box. Oh, it's so good.
I love
it's
it.
so fucking good. I don't know how they did it. Ugh, so good. Okay.
So smart.
Favorite Parks moment so far, honestly.
Yeah,
like
it's
one
great.
of the best ones.
I have to say, as watching it the first time, I wasn't expecting that to be how the episode ended. It wasn't like, he's going to propose now. He's going to propose now.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it was kind of a surprise. Yeah, you're right.
Now it's
Yeah.
not, right? Because I know this is the episode. But
Sure.
I think when you
You're
look
right.
at all the pieces leading up to this, you think he's going to come home and they're going to talk about it, right? Like,
Yeah, there's really no lead up. You're right.
yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And it looks like he likes the house, so that's good.
Yeah,
Where he'll have his Cones of Dunshire moment.
Yes.
All right, well, we get to the tag, and it's very sweet. Ron is taking the girls and Diane trick-or-treating, even though it's not Halloween, and makes this guy get some candy somewhere in this house. And this guy, Kenny Stevenson, is this actor's name. We've seen him a plethora of times. He's been so nice sending us voice memos and stuff. But just a friendly reminder, he's the one that works on Joan's show, and Leslie says she went to school with him, and they called him wood chips or whatever the fuck because he peed his pants.
Yeah.
He was like, Leslie, we're on TV. And then the other time was when he was at the JJ's Diner and Andy was trying to find the scavenger hunt that Leslie made for Ben, and like the whipped cream was just like falling all over him and whoever he was eating with. And I think one more time before that or something. But regardless, he sent in a voice memo about this day, and I really, really enjoyed it. And he always sends things very fast. I would say him and Burley are like the fastest at sending things, which is so sweet. And so, yeah, here we go.
All right. So I got a lot to say about this episode. This was my second to last episode and the first time working with Nick Offerman, and the last 2 episodes that I worked on were with him mostly. So I'd worked with most of the other cast, Adam Scott, Amy Poehler, Chris Pratt, everybody except Rashida Jones, unfortunately, and Aubrey Plaza, again, unfortunately. But so we shot this in at like just a neighborhood in Burbank. So the normal, like the set for Parks and Rec was at CBS Radford. And so we report to Radford and then drive over. And so in the passenger van, they were shooting a whole other thing. So in the passenger van, it's just me, like a PA, Lucy Lawless, and Nick Offerman. And Nick Offerman just turns to me at one point. He knew who I was. He was like, introduced, this guy's gonna be playing Jim. He just turns to me at one point and gives me his first line of dialogue. And then so I just immediately give him my line. He does his line. We do the whole scene, and just like out of nowhere. And he saw that I was like ready to go and did it. And after we finished, he just like shook my hand and said, "Good man." And I was like, whew, just what a human being. Sidebar about Lucy Lawless, had a very, I don't want to say foul mouth, but like was talking about very intense bedroom stuff like it was nothing, which I'm not going to shame her. You go, girl. So Nick Offerman, total treat. The big story that I love telling about this episode is the particular day we were shooting was his 9th anniversary with Megan Mullally. Mullally? Whatever. You say Mullally, I say Mullally. And he, it's, well known that Nick Offerman has a woodworking studio. And so if you look up like every anniversary, there's some sort of gift, like first anniversary is paper, 25 is silver. Silver? That's a thing, right? Silver. And then, 50 is gold. For the 9th anniversary, it's willow, like not like the movie or the really terrible Disney Plus update Willow. I mean like the kind of tree. And so he's telling somebody this story, and he's telling her how he Megan was really into sauces at the time. So what he had done was he took a piece of willow that he'd found in his woodworking studio, and he had whittled it down to make a sauce spoon. And what he was doing in between takes, or like in between setups, not in between takes, but in between setups, we were just sitting on these people's lawn, and he would just get out this sauce spoon. Sauce, not soft spoon, sauce spoon. I know how to talk. He'd get this sauce spoon out and a little piece of sandpaper, and he would sit and just kind of like slowly sand it and to get it perfect so he could give it to her when he was done shooting. And then I'll just say about shooting the actual scene, it was, great. Like, it's the first time to be, I don't want to take up too much time in your podcast, but like, I'll just say, I think I might have said this the first time I did your show or was on the show. Whenever you show up to like a show that's already like, a well-oiled machine and you're just a day player, the last thing you want to do is ruffle feathers. You just want to come in, do your work, hit your mark, do your lines, and then not be like much of a bother. But this is my 3rd time being on the show. So I think there was, I don't want to say like there was like do whatever you want, but there was a little bit more of a trust factor, and for me to like make some choices and do something different. Like, I believe the way I played it ended up being the way I played it that was like a little bit different than written, but they just liked the way I was doing it. So it was like, that was kind of fun. And then that leads into the last time I'm on the show, which is like one of, please have me back. I've got a million stories about that episode as well. But this was like, and still to this day, people on November 8th, like, there's like, on like a meme, it says like, you know, me, and it says it's November 8th, because that's what it is. It's like a less low rent version of a Justin Timberlake It's Gonna Be May. All right, you're welcome. Thanks for having me back on. Bye.
He's so crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenny, for sending that in. Yes, as a reminder, it's November 8th when they go trick-or-treating. Not obviously Halloween, because that's the whole joke. And I've never seen that meme, but I'll find it and I'll start sending it. So on November 8th kind of vibes. Thank you, Kenny, for sending that in. That's so hilarious. First, you're sipping tea on the voice memo, slurping tea, and then you can't pronounce soft and silder. I just love those voice memos. They're so funny to listen to.
Yeah.
And I'm not editing out a hot damn thing. So love those stories so much. And also I can totally imagine Ron Swanson / Nick Offerman saying, "Good man."
Yeah.
Like after repeating the lines and whatnot. And there is Kenny, I don't know if you remember this, but there is a deleted scene, not deleted, but there were some cut lines. I think when he said, and I see why they cut it, because just for time, but basically it was like Kenny's character was like, okay, I'm in the middle of dinner here, like, you know, and then Ron sends some more lines and stuff like that, but you kind of get the point. He gets calcium chews, a roll of cookie dough to them, which is hilarious.
I will take the roll of cookie dough.
Literally, and the calcium chews. I think those were like an early 2000s thing too, because I remember my ex-stepmom, I guess, having them in the fridge, and they tasted pretty good. So I don't know, maybe people have them now, but I remember those.
Yeah, those weren't bad.
Yeah. But yeah, the roll of cookie dough is choice.
Yeah.
And then everybody walks away and Ron gives him money, which I think is really funny for that, because
I love how confused he looks that he's getting money.
Totally.
It's awesome.
I actually, I was thinking about it though. If people came to my house after Halloween, and even probably on Halloween, but especially after, I don't know that I'd have anything to give them. I have like chocolate protein bar, like half of a chocolate protein bar. But other than that, like, and I did make cookies a while ago, but like, obviously I ate that. I don't have candy, or like I have chocolate chips from those cookies, but they're not very good. They're like the bittersweet ones. So
oh yeah, you don't want to eat those by themselves typically.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't really have it in the house because I just know that I'm gonna eat like 8,000 of them all at one time. So yeah,
I feel that.
So I don't know what I'd give them. Honestly, I'd have to give them something that wasn't candy, or I have some mints. They'd hate that, but I do have mints. I was just thinking about that because I was like, what would I give them? Anyhow. Well, do you have anything else after that?
No.
Awesome. Well, that was Halloween Surprise. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who sent in a voice memo. Lara, Ryan, Kenny, thank you so much. We'll definitely reach out to Kenny for the last episode that he's in, because I know I'll want to hear about that. And yeah, hopefully some other people reach out to me that didn't have time to send it in. Again, if you haven't rated or reviewed yet, please do that. That really helps us out. Park Pals Podcast on Instagram. You can find us on Spotify. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody reminded me that I should post the Spotify link too, because not everybody has iPhones, and I was like,
good idea.
Oh right, oops. So I've been trying to post both those, but you can find us anyhow. TikTok, all those things. If you have any questions, or you want us to research anything else, or think of something that you just are dying to know, or if you have any questions from people that I've had voice memos from, let me know. I'll reach out to them. Obviously keep it relaxed, don't go crazy. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. We're excited to see where Ben and Leslie go, and yeah, hope you have a wonderful week.
See you next time.
See you next time, and happy almost fall. Bye.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.